Hello everyone, welcome back to the next episode of Nothing But Dicta, the only podcast that's full of opinions and no facts. My name is Andrew Tuvlin. I'm out here in sunny DC on this nice November weather, and I have a special treat for you guys today. I have two of my very good friends here at the law school, Jake and Rachel. The two of them are members of the Real Estate Law Association, and they're here to talk about not only the Real Estate Law Association, but also how to start your own organization. So if you two would please introduce yourselves.
Thank you for the wonderful intro, Andrew. My name is Jake Bernstein. I am the co-founder and co-president of RELA, the Real Estate Law Association.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Propis, and I am the co-founder and vice president of RELA.
Thank you both for joining me. I know how busy you are, so I really appreciate you joining me on this podcast here.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. So if you could start a little bit about what is your specific job in RELA? I know you gave us the titles, but what are you actually doing within the organization?
As vice president of RELA, I'm specifically in charge of our events planning committee, which is in charge of planning all of our events. We decided when we were founding this organization that the best way to get more people involved, especially younger people, in the law school would be to form these two committees. So we have the events planning committee, which is pretty straightforward. We just spearhead planning all of the events that we have. And we also have the professional developments committee, which helps students who are interested in real estate and all real property areas find certain connections and areas both in DC and New York, and I think a few other areas that will have these opportunities for them career-wise.
As co-president, I kind of serve both as a liaison between our organization and the school, and also an advisory role over our organization. So I oversee the specific tasks that we delegate to both the e-board and our two committees, like Rachel mentioned, the events planning committee and the professional developments committee.
Now, you both talked a little bit about what your roles are individually, but what is RELA? What does RELA do? And additionally, are there any upcoming RELA events that you're really excited about?
Yeah, so even though RELA is called the Real Estate Law Association, we actually cover all things real property. And that may include commercial real estate transactions, trusts and estates, construction and indemnity suits, and all things related, historical preservation, and many other topics.
Yeah, so far, we're a very new organization. This is our first semester on campus. So far, we've had our first meeting was actually a panel with a bunch of practitioners in real property, so that was a really cool event. And we're actually having an event really soon that's going to be almost like a study session event, and we're going to provide snacks and beverages, and everyone can just kind of come and relax and have a little study break.
So obviously, with you guys just founding RELA, it's a very new organization and it's still trying to find, its voice. What kind of character traits do you think would make a 1L or a 2L or maybe even a 3L who's hearing about this organization say to themselves, this is something that I think I'm interested in and this is something that I want to be a part of?
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, people with real estate experience before law school are obviously going to be interested in the Real Estate Law Association, but I think taking property law as a 1L is a super helpful way to get exposed to the world of real property. I know I could definitely speak for myself and Rachel that property law is one of the reasons why we decided to start this organization, because we both fell in love with the subject matter, and we had a great professor, shout out Professor Nunziato, who inspired us to create this club. And the good thing about real property is that there's both litigation experience and transactional. So, for example, commercial transactions is a super contract-heavy, deal-heavy area of the law, and you don't really go to court ever. But on the other hand, construction suits and indemnity suits, that's all litigation. So the good thing about real property is that it's the best of both worlds. We have something for everyone.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything Jake said. I know personally for me and Jake, we became inspired to start this organization because of our property law class. So that was a really great experience. And we're also expecting that a lot of 1Ls, once they take that course, are going to realize what an amazing area of law this is that has so many different practice areas involved. And it's really, especially in doing this entire experience and starting this organization, it's even opened my eyes up to how many areas of real property there really are and how many amazing career opportunities there are, whether it's private firm, transactional or litigation, or even working for the government.
And also, if I could just note, one of the best things about property law is that it's a really tangible field of law. And so, to give you an example, I worked at a commercial real estate law firm this past summer, and one of my favorite things to do was to walk around DC and look at all the buildings that our firm contracted for. It's a really interesting thing to do, and it makes you feel like you're a part of something bigger, and the deals that you're working on actually have meaning in the world because you can go and see the building that you work.
So, Jake, I know that you just talked about your real estate experience and that you both talked about how much fun your property class was. Are there any requirements that you need to have experience with property as well in order to join the club? Or do you think that the Real Estate Law Association is a good way for people to actually find out whether they are interested in it or not?
It's definitely something that you don't need any experience in. I didn't have any experience in real estate before starting this club, and I know Rachel didn't either. And, you know, we definitely are looking for students who have no idea what real property is, but, you know, something about it is attracting them to us. In fact, we developed this whole career guidance sheet that we have in our shared Google Drive, and it's a Google Doc brochure where you can click through the different subject areas in real property, and it gives you a summary of each one, and then it takes you to external links where you can learn more about it. So we definitely embrace all students regardless of their knowledge of real property. And like I mentioned, you're not going to know what real property even is until you take property law second semester 1L year. So there's definitely no requirements for joining our club. And I didn't have any experience before joining the commercial real estate firm that I worked for, so no experience necessary.
I completely agree, especially in this process of putting together these resources for students. It really opened even my eyes, and I'm sure everyone else on our executive board and in our professional development committee that put together these resources for us, about how big this area really is. And I think that says a lot about law in general. I feel like going into law school, you immediately learn how many different areas there really are and how many things you could do with a law degree. And I think having organizations like the Real Estate Law Association really helps students who have a general idea of what they want to do kind of explore different, more niche areas and have a better understanding of what there actually is out there.
So I think one of the best parts about GW is that there really is a club for anything. And if there's not an organization for you, you can actually make one, which is one of the reasons why I invited Jake and Rachel onto the podcast today. Jake, Rachel, would you guys mind giving us a brief overview on how you actually started the organization?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say the most important thing is finding a need for a student organization. It makes it much easier. So, for example, here at GW Law, we have CIPLA, which covers all things intellectual property, but there was no student organization that covered real property. And after a few weeks sitting in property law, Rachel and I approached our property law professor, and we asked her, besides CIPLA, how can we get involved in real property here at this school? And she said there's no student organization that covers this area of the law. And so, we kind of took that as a sign to get involved in something bigger, and try to make our mark on the GW Law community, and also create a student organization that fulfills this need for real property. And so we reach out to the Student Bar Association. That's definitely the first place I would go if you're interested in starting a student organization. And we kind of got lucky because a few years ago, a student who's now graduated actually tried to start a real estate law association, but never followed through with it. So we received an already made student organization email address from the SBA. And we also had a constitution and bylaws that were already written. So we kind of had a head start, and we didn't have to do everything from scratch. But we connected with two other students in our property law course who were also trying to start a student organization in real property at the same time as us. Shout out to Jenna and Ekshara. Jenna is actually a co-founder and my co-president, and Akshara is currently our secretary. And so us four got together after receiving these materials from the SBA. We had our first initial meeting where we created a logo, which is definitely the most fun part about starting a student organization. You could really let your creativity fly, and creating a logo really is going to dictate how you run the student organization from there on out. And we had a lot of fun with it. We really love our logo, and we think it's really, really innovative compared to the other student organization logos out there.
I agree. I mean, I've seen the Real Estate Law Association's logo, and that thing is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really is. And I think my best advice that I could give anyone who sees a vacancy and wants to start an organization on campus would be definitely don't go through it alone. If you can find a friend who's interested and a professor that's willing to help you and mentor you, that's definitely the most important thing. I know that I would not have been able to do this without Jake, and I know that we all would not have been able to do this without Professor Nunziato. So definitely look out for people who are willing and able to help you get to where you want to be so you can accomplish whatever your goal is in terms of starting a new organization.
Thank you both for coming on. I really appreciate it. Obviously, you two are some of my very good friends, so it really is my pleasure to have you on Nothing But Dicta. As thanks for joining me, now is your time to give one more plug for RELA, so just give a quick explanation of what your next event is and how students can get involved.
So if you want to get involved, you should definitely email realestatelaw@law.gwu.edu. And also, this is a great opportunity to get involved in a new organization and help us shape it to what is needed in the school. And that's what's really cool about it being new, is we're really asking for input of the student body to see what need is out there and what type of events people want to do. And we're really receptive to learning about it. So definitely, if you're interested in anything that we said in this podcast, email us and we will definitely help you get involved.